Hello, sports fans. Welcome to another edition of Vets Plus Sports.com. This is your host, Terrell Cool Beans Davis, along with my co host, Mr. James Miller.
Hello, everyone. How y'all doing this Wednesday morning? Hope everyone's doing well. We'll get ready to get started in this episode. But before we do, like always, I'll let Cool Beans do a shout out to our listeners.
We like to thank those that's out here listening to our coming to catch the live and those that come and see the replays. We thank you for that on YouTube and Rumble and here on X. We thank you for that. We also thank those that listen to us on the audio podcast on rss.com, and that is also through Spotify, Vets Plus Sports.com, and we have our leading cities like Los Angeles, California, San Jose, California, Boardman, Oregon, Ashburn, Virginia, Brussels, Belgium, and Grinzek, Weiland, Germany. Thank y'all for listening.
Yes, thanks everybody for tuning in, listening to us, and well, I guess we'll go ahead and get started. Where you want to start at with the NBA or?
Yeah, NBA because Joel Embiid. Now, I have mixed emotions about his suspension. He wanted time off anyway, so he got 3 games off.
Well, he wanted I guess more than one day off. I guess he wanted consecutive.
Yeah, but at
So
the same time, the reporter said something about his brother, his deceased brother, and his deceased son, and it was like Embiid said, next time you say something about I forgot what he said, how about he retaliated, but it was, I know sometimes these reporters can ask ridiculous questions and they can just get out of their way. So that's why I have mixed emotions. I'm not too upset
yeah,
how he responded, but I don't like Embiid as a player anyway.
and and I think sometimes these reporters they do cross the line. Um, so I'm like you with it in between, mix or whatever, but especially eh, you know, s- I mean that's some stuff you don't need to be going to. That's just crossing the line when it comes
Right,
to especially family. And that's one thing I don't know with journalism. I mean that should be a line that they never should cross anyway
right.
when it comes to your family and stuff. So, but it said, and you see how much he'll be fined.
No, I didn't say, I thought it was a three
Well,
game
this is well,
suspension.
it's a 3 game suspension, and he'll lose, which he might as well be fined money.
Mm.
He'll be losing $1,063,000 during that 3 game suspension.
Dang.
So, I don't know if I didn't read the whole article. I don't know if he could appeal that as far as the money goes, but but yeah, I'm like you with it. I'm kind of and I'm in the middle, mixed emotions, but like right there with it. I mean, especially when you start talking about, uh, I mean, the family like that.
Hmm.
So when I first seen that, I was like, what?
I know when you
But
said it to me, I was like, oh man.
so, but even though we disagree with what he's been doing, setting out and stuff, but I mean that just on the journalism side of things, I mean you got to stay away from that. When it comes to
Yeah.
people's family.
I think it should be a dual process because I think something should be happening to that journalist as well. It's
He
not
should,
fair
yeah,
that he to an extent he baited Embiid in there, and Embiid
yeah,
took the bait. Now he's got 3 games and 1.4 million down the drain, and
yep.
it's just like nothing happened to the journalist.
No, no, not at all. Um, and I mean, when it comes to journalism, some of their questions, it's like I don't like how they, I mean, approach some directions on some of their questions. That goes with any sport. It's just like, I mean, really, did you just ask that?
Yeah, it's
But
like, what does that have to do with anything in the NBA?
yeah, I
You're
mean,
going on a stretch. You think if that's what's affecting his play or something versus his injuries or something like that.
maybe it was a young journalism. He or she was just getting into it or something. Which I would say be more of a he because surely I wasn't seen pushing a woman, but
Yeah, I wouldn't see that either. Yeah,
yeah,
and it's probably one of those. That's one of because sometimes they'll ask that ridiculous question to get instant fame, get pushed,
that's
catapulted up
it.
there.
Yeah, and they tried to make their way in, but I don't know on that situation as far as that goes with that journalism. But I want to run down some scores from Monday night because there was no games played last night due to the election and everything. But
Right.
Monday night you had the Bucks and the Cavaliers. Cavaliers won at home, 116 to 114, and those Milwaukee Bucks are 1-6 starting out.
I don't know what's up with them Bucks.
I don't either. And Cavaliers, what about them? 8-0.
Yeah, I know. Whoa,
Eight
they
oh.
they they're opening up like Boston did
Look
last
out!
year.
Look out, Boston! Look out! You got a competitor now with
Heck yeah.
Cleveland, and then you got the Warriors. And here's another team right now. It's shocking, especially with Curry out. The Warriors beat the Wizards 125 to 112. They improved to 6-1 on the year. Lakers follow the Pistons 115 to 103. Didn't the Lakers start out 4-0?
Yeah, and they
And
talking
they
about since then Lakers have
dropped
not.
three.
They're dropping.
They shouldn't have sent Bronny down as a G League man. They sent him down, and now look, they're falling. No, but then you had the Celtics beating the Hawks 123 to 93. Um, then you had the Nets beating the Grizzlies 106 to 104. Both of those teams are 4-4 now, which the Celtics improved to 7-1 on their win. The Kings and the Heat played. The Kings beat the Heat 111 to 110. The Jazz over the Bulls 135 to 126. Uh, Your Knicks fell to the Rockets 109 to 97, and they are at 500 at 3-3. What's happening to the Knicks?
I know they're blowing up. And well, at first I was gonna say the good thing about the Knicks is each one of their games they scored over 100, but they dropped it yesterday. Three short.
Three short, yep. And then you had the Hornets getting beat by the Timberwolves 114 to 93. The Magic fall to the Thunder 102 to 86. And the Thunder are 7-0. I think that's kind of a little bit of a surprise starting out with that team.
Well, they took our center from the Thunder got our center. They got Hartenstein, Josh Hartenstein. He
Uh,
was center for the Knicks, and they made that trade and got Carl Anthony Towns. And I was like, they should have paid him his money because Cat is actually a power forward, but he's playing at the center position, and it's not at 3-3. It looks like it's not working.
yeah. So, and then you got the Trailblazers beating the Pelicans at 118 to 100. The Pacers beating the Mavericks 134 to 127. And this league's starting out so far, man. It's what's happening. You only got a few good teams. The rest of them are 3-5, 4-4, 4-3. Because the Pacers, I mean, beating the Mavericks. The Mavericks are 4-3. Pacers are 3-4. The Raptors get beat by the Nuggets, 121 to 119. The Nuggets are 4-3 now, and the Raptors are at 2-6. Um, the Suns beat the 76ers 118 to 116. The Suns are 6-1. Those 76ers, man, 1-5.
Yeah, I know that they're looking horrible.
And then the Clippers and the Spurs. Clippers beat the Spurs 113 to 104, and both of those teams are 3-4. So it's like everybody's wanting to start out slow this year, I guess, to the season. But and then tonight, slate of games. I'll go ahead and mention those. Um, you have at 7 p.m. You've got the Pistons playing in Charlotte, and Magic's playing at Pacers. And then your Knicks are playing in Atlanta against the Hawks. The Warriors. Oh, here you go. Here's a. This would be a must game watch being early in the season. The Warriors are playing in Boston.
Mm.
Warriors 6-1, Boston 7-1. To me, I think the Celtics will take that, but we'll see what happens with it. And then you got the Spurs playing the Rockets, the Lakers and the Grizzlies, the Cavaliers playing the Pelicans, Bulls is playing Mavericks. Thunder and Nuggets. That should be a good game if Denver's got back to where on a little bit of a rolling. We'll see there because that last right now, Jokic, he's averaging 29.6 points a game, 12 boards and 10 assists. So he's averaging a triple double starting the season. Jokic is so.
Right. So that's good for him. I mean, like, well, we know he's still playing.
Yeah, he's still playing. So but they're 4-3, so they're trending on the other end, going the other way. You got the Heat going to Phoenix to play the Suns. The 76ers and the Clippers are playing each other, and then the last game, and then these last few games are at 10 o'clock, and the Raptors are playing the Kings. So that's what we have right there as far as the slating with the NBA. And running down any other news. Right here, let's see where I seen it a minute ago. And then this ain't good for Denver Nuggets. Gordon is out for multiple weeks, I guess, he's with an injury.
That's a starting power forward. So
that's going to change everything. And it's as far as the rest of it. Here's the thing. AD injures his foot. So, we talked about the injury bug in the NFL. Now it's seemed to
moved over to the NBA.
Now here's my thing, which I don't know. To me, it seemed like it shouldn't be because playing football and basketball is different. But as far as taking a toll, you think some of them playing over in the summer with the Olympics, it's rolling over. You think that may be it, or
I think it is because one thing I was like, okay, the whole thing. This is what it gets me. How bad is this league wanting money? Why it's like they already make millions per year doing the 82 games. Then they got to play summer leagues. Then they got some that'll go overseas and play, and just come back with. I was like, doggone it. I mean, like we just our pretty much our base pay where we work is like $40,000 a year, and you don't see me got 9 jobs. And like, okay, after the what you call it, let me go to this next job. Then again, if you count this show and all others, I guess I'm in that same boat.
And there's something I seen earlier when I was at work. Well, last night it says the NBA's ratings is dropping. In the last few years, their ratings are dropping. But I wonder how much is contributed to LeBron. People are tired. You think on that side of things, if the ratings are dropping, I mean, how much you think towards the end of the career? I'm like, all right, we're tired of seeing his pull, or you think any of that could be, or
yeah, I think especially on the Lakers side, that little whole stunt with the father and son playing, that right there kind of tuned people out. It's like what you call it, especially when you're not winning.
That's it.
Because they could have picked up and actually drafted somebody. Even though he got drafted at what was it, 51 or 55? I can't remember. It was somewhere in the 50s.
Yeah.
Somebody in college, there was a player that actually deserved that spot where he did not.
Yeah. And
I blame that on Jenny Buss, the old owner. I'm like, you are the owner. He is the player. Who has more control? It's like if I'm walking the dog is not walking me. The dog doesn't tell me where I go.
That's it.
I'm not trying to call that NBA player before we have some backlash and cancel culture. They were calling us dogs on there. No, that's not what I'm saying. But it's an analogy. You can understand the analogy.
That's right. You're in control. You're the owner. You're in control.
Right. You're in control.
And that's where I go back to, I've said this before in our other episodes, the NBA has let LeBron have too much control. And it's just at every franchise, except for now, there was one franchise they didn't, and that wasn't going to happen. Pat Riley
was Pat Riley there.
Pat Riley was not going to allow that to happen in Miami, and that could be why LeBron left. He probably seen that.
Yeah.
But he had now his first year in Cleveland, he had no control. I mean, his first years, his first contract.
Yep.
But then when he went back, man, it was just like, and after ever since, it's fire that coach. I don't like this coach. Fire him. It's kind of pulling Aaron Rodgers.
Yep.
I mean, and they pulled the trigger. Well, but yeah, he's had too much control. I know he was a franchise during his tenure there in the NBA. He was pretty much the franchise logo, really, during these last 20 years. But I mean, there's got to be a separation between player, coach, and the owner, and knowing your place.
Right. Exactly.
I'm the player. I'm not the owner. I don't run this business. And I'm not the coach. And that has never been set with him. So that's why you see he gets almost everything he wants. Well, he tried to get Curry to come, but Curry said no. I ain't getting in that mess.
There you go.
I mean, but we'll see how it goes with that in the NBA. But I did read where they said the ratings were dropping. But
And then my thing is, what do they expect? It's got 82 games. There's only way I can watch all 82 games. I'm either rich or unemployed.
well, no, too, and people could get tired of hearing them cry, whine, and complain and cry. We're
Yep.
playing 82 games. We can't play back-to-back games, so we're going to sit out this game, or I'm playing this game, not that game. And people are probably getting tired of the whining and crying. I mean, you got to go out there. You're getting paid to play those 82 games. You play those 82 games. Stop your whining and crying. Get out there. You're getting paid to do a job. You know what you got to do. Go ahead and go out there and play and do it.
Yep.
And you're getting paid good money to do it. You can't complain.
Exactly.
You can't complain about the pay. If so, just go flip some burgers somewhere and see how much you complain.
I know, because I would gladly switch hourly salaries with them.
I would too.
If I had their money, I would never call in.
No,
They'd
never.
be like, "Oh, you're dying. You're bleeding all over. I can work. I can
Yep,
work. Don't worry."
yep, that's it. So right here we got. I guess that's about it for the NBA. I got the women's NBA up, which you done mentioned it earlier, but the headlines with it and the women's NBA. Chicago hires Mars, the Chicago Sky. I don't know if you've seen
Yep.
that.
Yep. I
And
did.
then it said where the Fever nabbed White. So that's just a couple of coaching changes with the women's NBA. Um, and let's see here. Let's see, I think that's about it. It's showing right now. Okay, and it's talking about Mahomes as a women's NBA team for
Oh yeah, that's right.
KC.
They're they're
KC.
they're right. I forgot about that. I seen where he's trying to get an expansion team to KC, and it was what you call it. Remember, I told you I said each year over the next 3 years they were bringing in one team. This upcoming season, the Valkyries will come in, and the next season, I forgot it was Portland, or Portland might be the last one, and I forgot what the middle team was, but they
Mhm.
only had three. But she wants to Engelberg, Kathy Engelberg, the we'll say mediocre GM, because right now I'm not really a fan for her because how she let Caitlyn get beat up and never did anything to discipline those refs and everything by their bad, horrible calls. But anyway, she's another story. But she wants to get it up in the next 4 years to 16, which left a city open because they only had three so far. And Mahomes has got on there that they're trying to get an expansion team out there in KC. And Mahomes
K,
actually he can
he may have some pull.
yeah,
All right, here's my thing: KC, Missouri, or KC, Kansas.
that's the thing. I would go, yeah, that's what I would
But
see
now
where that stadium going first.
here's the thing, though. I mean, he's going on his own to get one. Um, but you've got the Kansas City is owned by I done forgot their names. That's how bad I'm tired. But Veach and owned by the Hunt family. They got the Royals and the Chiefs. So they're
Yeah.
the ones that could be pulling out with that on that NFL. And
He could partner with them and what you call it. because Mahomes could be a potential owner. He can he has
Yeah,
money to get in there, so he doesn't have to use all his money. He can partner with the Hunt family, bring them in, and I'm sure they'll probably go in with him on it.
yeah, they would. And that's what I was getting ready to mention is the money on the aspect of the money side of things, because the women's NBA right now is not bringing in a lot of money.
Yeah, it's not.
So, and they're trying to build up the fan base. And here's the thing: if the NBA is losing viewership, where's that viewership going to go? Is it going to go watch the women's now?
Right. Well, right now, remember the women's is like they're on a potential lockout because they're over here acting stupid about something. Oh, we want more money. We want more. Okay, I understand that, but first you have to do some work.
That's it. You do. I mean, you got to. I mean, and the thing is, it's just going to be tough because, well, too. I mean, yeah, they're playing in the off season of the NBA, so they can use some of the stadiums, and too, so they can pull some of the fans. But now, too, during the summer, you're losing some of your fans that could be watching the women's during baseball season.
Right. And here's the thing that's really getting me is because the women's NBA, the players are not acknowledging that the league had financial problems. The league had mismanagement problems because one, until Caitlin Clark really negotiated and got them to get the private planes because they were going flying coach. And that's bad. They flying coach, and then it's like a lot of them. It's not that you could never get Michael Jordan on coach because everybody would know who he was. My thing is that's a bad sign that you can fly coach and nobody's harassing you for an autograph because they don't know who the hell you are.
To me, as a player, I would love that. I would love it. Michael Jordan couldn't go nowhere. Uh,
Exactly.
I mean, now Caitlin Clark can't go nowhere because she's on pretty much the face of the women's NBA now. I mean, she'd be
Yes.
able to see. I don't. Well, maybe not. Maybe she can dress up and they just like, well, that girl. She kind of looks like Caitlin Clark. Nah, that's not
Mm,
her. And,
yeah.
but her face is everywhere now. So, but yeah, to me, that's like if I was playing professional football or baseball, I was like, that's the two sports I wanted to play. Um, I'm like, man, I want to be that low key guy that nobody knows, so I can still go out and do things and then not be
Right.
hackled all the time. But I guess that's you got anything else on the women's NBA?
No.
I got some hockey pulled up. I'm gonna go over some scores. Evidently, hockey don't observe the election night because they played last night,
Oh.
like the NBA. So here's some scores from last night. Um, you've got the Senators and the Sabres. The Sabres beat the Senators 5-1. You had the Bruins and the Maple Leafs playing. They played in Toronto. It was Maple Leafs 4, Bruins 0. The Flames and the Canadians Flames beat the Canadians 3-2. The Flyers beat the Hurricanes. I'm telling you wrong. Hurricanes beat the Flyers 6-4. Islanders beat the Penguins 4-3. The Blues beat the Lightning 3-2. Kings over the Wild 5-1. The Kings are 8-3-3. The Wild are 8-2-2. So, but the Kings put it on the Wild. The Jets beat the Utah Hockey Club 3-0. And every time I see that, the Utah Hockey Club, can we not come up with a name?
I know, right?
I mean,
that was like the Washington football team.
it's Utah Mountain Skyline or something, or Utah Skyline or something like that. I mean, come on, the Utah Hockey Club. That was like the Washington football. What was it? Football team, wasn't it? Last a couple years ago. I'm like, come on now, we got to do better than that. And then you had the Kraken over playing the Avalanche. The Avalanche beat the Kraken 6-3. And I still love that name, Kraken.
I know.
And then the Canucks beat the Ducks 5-1, and the Sharks beat the Blue Jackets 2-1. That was just some hockey scores last night. So let's see here. I'm trying to let's see. Anything else that you want to mention with hockey or anything?
Nothing. Only thing I'm mentioning in hockey is we're gonna give our friend Mark Wenzel a good shout out because I'm gonna send it to him on Facebook that we're sending you shout outs because I'm trying to get you on the show for Saturday to talk about some hockey this Saturday at 9 p.m. Eastern time.
I tried to talk to him this morning before I left, but it was running a little late on their meeting, and it was time for me to jet out. So I left. So I didn't get to mention it to him, and now I'm off for 5 days. So you're going to have
I'll
to
see him
mention
today.
it. So, let's see here. We'll get into some college. Get a little bit on college, but we've already made our picks for college for this coming weekend.
We did.
Yes, we did.
I forgot about that Saturday. I was like, "Ooh, we got to do college picks."
Well, we got to do the NFL. We got the college in. I'll just run over some of the top 25 playing this weekend. Let's see here. You had Purdue and Ohio State's going to be playing. Miami and Georgia Tech. You got Florida and Texas. Hopefully Texas don't go in that overlooking Florida. I mean, Florida's 4-4. Texas is its first year in there, but Texas is looking pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Number 3, Georgia and Ole Miss. I could see an upset right here. Georgia's number 3. Ole Miss is number 16. They're playing in Ole Miss. Michigan and Indiana. And I'll have to look this up. Our buddy Matt Toller, the coach for Indiana, he said used to be a quarterback that played for West Virginia. He's wanting them to get him from Indiana to come coach West Virginia. But we'll see what happens with that carousel there in West Virginia as far as coaching. Iowa State's playing in Kansas. Clemson's playing at Virginia Tech. Army's playing North Texas. I think Army should beat them, improving to 9-0. Colorado's playing at Texas Tech. That's going to be a good game. That's at 4 p.m. on Fox. That's in Texas. That's in Lubbock. I think it's Lubbock. Texas Tech. That's
Lubbock.
Yeah. And then Maryland is playing number 1 Oregon. Maryland's got to go to Oregon, so they're going to get pounded out in Eugene. Mississippi State's going to Tennessee to play the Vols. You have Florida State playing Notre Dame. Alabama is playing LSU at LSU. And I just read something that came out of Morgantown. They changed some of their schedules here in the next couple of years.
Mm-hmm.
In 26, West Virginia is supposed to be picking up Alabama on their schedule. They did that. They did that about 10 years ago, 11 years ago. They played them on a contract of a 2-year deal. I think they done 2 years. And that year, one of those years, West Virginia almost beat them. They had it down to the wire, which was shocking to the beginning to get with. But they had them down to the wire. Alabama ended up winning. But West Virginia got a long way to go to even stick with Alabama.
Yeah, that's the thing. Okay, they did that. You said that was about 10 years back.
Yeah,
but that team was so much better.
Well,
than the team they got right now, huh?
Well, no, that team wasn't that good. I mean, that team, we ain't being competitive. Well, it's been a little while. That team there, that wasn't Geno Smith. I want to say that may have been Skylar Howard was the quarterback or one of those. I'll have to check.
Right.
But
I just looking at this Neil Brown team, like I said, I'm just new looking into this, but I just got a glimpse when we went out to the game. But looking at that team right now, I would take Woodrow High School over them.
They I think Neil Brown is gone. When you got your number 1 guy who contributes to the school, a booster, you got a booster. He's the number 1 contributing booster for that program, calling for him to be fired, and he's going to pay his buyout. He's gone.
Yeah,
because he all he has to do. I'm going to pull that money. I'm not putting no more money into this program, and then he's gone.
Honestly, I think Neil Brown already knew he was gone. He probably knew beginning of this year that, because to me, it seems like his coaching style is like, I don't care. It's 3rd and 14. You're only down by a touchdown. We're going to run the ball. You're not even trying.
He's been like that since he's been there. That's why that's why after year three, that's why I mentioned with a new coach. I'm not talking about the NFL. NFL is different. I don't think the NFL they give them time. They don't have no leash in the NFL.
Yeah.
Um, but in college, by year three, if you don't see some improvement, and I'm not depending on the program. If it's a program it didn't win, it's only won 2 or 3 games the year before, or no games. But by year three, if you don't see some improvement at 500 or just above 500, or some improvement in your play, then that coach he ain't gonna be the guy.
Yep.
And that it hasn't been there at West Virginia. His year three, it was the same. It petered out. It's done flat out. He's not the guy. He can't coach he can't coach to his talent. He's got a plan. He's got a game plan A. There is no B or C to do any adjustments to.
Right.
So I think you and I was talking about like last night. That's like with Andy Reid, and I'll mention this before I get into the NFL. Um, Andy Reid, he coaches to the situation of the game. Okay, all right. He may coming in that game. He may be throwing 70% of the time, running 30. But if running the ball is what's getting him, and it takes running the ball 90 times, 90% of the time, he's going to run the ball. He ain't afraid of doing it. He ain't afraid of getting away from it, and that's what makes a good coach.
Right.
A good coach adjusts to the situation, just like Nick Saban. We mentioned, I think, on live over the weekend, maybe with the national championship
Mm-hmm.
when they had Tua and they had Jalen Hurst. Jalen Hurst in the national championship wasn't playing good. Okay, and I can't remember. I don't know if he was hurt or what. He had a small injury, but anyway, Nick Saban pulled him out in the national championship game and put a freshman in, Tua, and wins the national championship. That's what you call good coaching.
Yep.
Okay.
To
And
notice you take your, Garrett Green, he's all right. I was like,
he's an
I liked
athlete.
him as a runner. I was like, when
He's
he
an
used to
athlete. Yeah. He's
run
an
up
athlete.
the middle and everything, he did pretty good. But you have
He,
got to realize when he is throwing, you have got to. I'm like, we're not even on the field. We don't watch him in practice, but I can notice that he can't see over the line.
no. And, but we'll see what happens with that carousel that's going on. I do say he is gone. A lot of people say no, he ain't, but we'll see what happens. I'll run these last couple games. It's being played Oklahoma and number 24 Missouri, Washington and Penn State. Nevada is playing Boise, Virginia and Pittsburgh. BYU at Utah, and BYU is going to run all over Utah. I'm sorry, you Utes. And Washington State and Utah State is some of the round out of the top 25 games going on. And of course, West Virginia is playing in Cincinnati, and I do not see. Well, I don't expect West Virginia coming out with a win there. But we'll see what happened. I didn't think they would beat Arizona, and Arizona must not be as good as I think they've only won 3 or 4 games. So,
Right.
but that's pretty much the roundup right now of coming games. Let's see here what games they got. They should have some Friday night games. I will mention it since they usually got Thursday or Friday night games, and none of these are ranked. Actually, they got a game tonight. You got Ohio and Kent State. You got Northern Illinois and Western Michigan as well. Tomorrow night, Bowling Green and Central Miss. No, I'm telling you wrong. That game's already. Man, they played last night. These are scores here from last night. Bowling
Wow.
Green. I didn't know they was playing on Tuesday night. Bowling Green beat Central Michigan 23-13. Miami of Ohio beat Ball State 27-21. Then Thursday night games. Here we go. You got Appalachian State and Coastal Carolina at 8 o'clock, and then you got Florida Atlantic at East Carolina. That was, I think, one of the teams West Virginia dropped off of their schedule. If you remember, I mentioned them picking them up next year.
Right.
Well, they dropped East Carolina, and the next year they picked up UT Martin. I don't know, but then you got California and Wake Forest. Friday night, Iowa and UCLA is also Friday night, along with Rice and Memphis, New Mexico, and San Diego State, and that runs out the games during the week before game day on Saturday. So, well, anything else you want to mention there with college?
No. We do have to pick our NFL teams, right? I think we
Yep,
do.
yep. We're
Yep.
getting ready. We're getting ready to get into that.
Yeah, because after we do our picks, I got some updates on the coach firings. We
All
got some
right,
talk. We got some
and
talk on this one.
I got you by one game last week. Let's see here. I went. No, you got me. Let's see. Yeah. I got you by one game last week.
I
I
was
went.
having dizzy spells last week. My blood sugar was high, so I didn't
Yeah,
make
yeah,
good
because
picks.
because you you picked the Cowboys to win. I went 10-5 on my picks. You went 11-6. So maybe you can bring you down a little out. Well, y'all got a playmaker now. Hey, Jerry Jones went out and got y'all a big
He
playmaker on
sure did.
offense. Was it Mingo or Wingo?
Bingo.
Mingo. All right, but all right, they'll be starting the week 10 tomorrow night. This one here is going to be a good one. You got the Bengals, who are 4-5, playing in Baltimore, playing the Ravens at 6-3. And I would say this: Bengals always plays the Ravens tough, no matter what.
Hmm.
Um, but we was talking at work. I think right now the two better teams looking good I think the Ravens and the Lions.
Yeah.
As a whole, as you look at them as a picture, they looking good. Even though the Chiefs are undefeated, but I mean they're winning, and the reason they're winning is to me is the
I'll say
coaching.
Andy Reid.
Andy Reid, it's the coaching, and then look at their defensive coach Spagnolia.
Yep.
All right, I mean you got a two Dynamo right there with them. They're going to win. They're going to put you in positions to win, and when you got Patrick Mahomes, I mean, but I think, man, I don't know, man. With this game here, I'm gonna go with the Ravens. But my thing is, it wouldn't shock me to see the Bengals go in there and beat them in Baltimore.
That's why I'm going with Natty.
And going who now?
Cincinnati. Going with Natty.
Y'all, you going with them? So you're thinking the same line along the lines I am. All right. And here's the thing: if that happens, you're talking about shaking up that division then,
Yeah.
because the Bengals would be 5-5, the Ravens would fall to 6-4. You got Pittsburgh out of all the teams leading the division, and so we'll see what happens there.
We did not pick Pittsburgh winning that division. I think
Nah,
you went Baltimore. I was like, oh, Cincinnati. Yeah, we both wrong. Yeah. It's like,
the only ones had them winning the division was Steeler fans, and I seen some Steeler fans that was like, I'm thinking, dude, there's no way at the start of the season y'all don't even know who your quarterback is, and as of right now, they still don't. They got Russell Wilson. 2 weeks from down the road, it could be back to Fields. Who knows?
yep.
Well, I mean, Russell Wilson's looking good. I'll give the props to him. He's looking good. Um, the slated games coming on Sunday, and you got the Patriots and the Bears. Man, what happened to the Bears?
I don't know. It's like remember when it's just like we was talking all that bad stuff about them in the beginning, and then they was winning, and all of a sudden we just let off and we started saying nice things about them.
And they start losing. Let's
Yeah,
start trashing them again. What do you think?
yeah. I know. Can they only win when we trashing them?
The Caleb Williams the last couple of weeks has went. It ain't been his play, but they're playing in Chicago. You got the Patriots. Maybe that defense. Maybe it's the defense. It's the offense ain't putting the numbers. They got beat. They only put up 9 points last week.
Yeah.
So and they played the Commanders, didn't they?
Yep.
So and which the Commanders is a good team.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, which I ain't seen the MVP race or whatever. But to me, I think Jalen Daniels should be up there as the quarterback, as the top for the MVP race. If you ask me,
I don't think it was the Commanders. I think the
Well,
Commanders beat them the week before.
was that the week before? Oh,
Yeah, I
hold
think
on.
they
I'll tell you.
played the Cardinals
Well, let me check it real fast. See,
because it was somebody that we just knew that Chicago was going to beat. 'Cause we didn't go for Chicago and win the Commanders. We went for the Commanders. But I think this because we went for Chicago and they didn't pull it off. I think it was the
you are
Cardinals.
right. You are right. The Cardinals beat them 29-9. I'm sorry. That was the week before. It was Commanders.
Yeah, it was like because
So
I was thinking, I was like, wait a minute.
so the Cardinals beat them 29-9, and the Cardinals went to 5-4, and now here they are. Um, man, I don't know. I'm gonna go Bears because they're playing in Chicago. The Pats has only won 2 games.
Yeah,
I'm gonna go Bears on this game.
I'm gonna go Bears too because I'm going Bears because New England will win this game because this every time I pick New England they lose, but when I go against them they win.
Well, you've went against them twice because they're 2-7 then. But then you got here's a game here: the Broncos and the Chiefs. The Broncos are 5-4. I mean, you talked about this here. Um, Mahomes tweaked that ankle again Monday night.
hmm
Um, they're on a kind of a short week. I mean, it's not too bad, but he said he'd be ready to go. To me, I mean, they're playing, like I said, they're playing in KC. Why wouldn't you go ahead and sit him this game to rest that ankle? Put
Exactly.
put Carson Wentz in. I think you can still beat them with Carson Wentz.
hmm
Rest the ankle, but Mahomes ain't going to do that. He's going to be a guy. But like you said, well, if he wants to have that record of starting so many games, put him in there, let him hand the ball off to Hunt, and then pull him out.
Yep, I would. You got this first play. I'll even give him the first drive, and then we sitting you.
But I'm gonna go Chiefs with this because I'll tell you why. One's my team, but Hopkins he balled Monday night,
Yeah, he did.
and I think here's the thing: you get him and Mahomes on a groove, it's gonna be like having Tyreek Hill back almost, somewhat.
Yep.
See, Rasheed Rice was getting on the groove before he went down, and so I'm gonna go to Chiefs with this with there in the against the Broncos.
I'm going with Chiefs.
Um, Last year they split in Denver. They got pounded by them. But I think that was last year. Then you got the 49ers and the Buccaneers. The Buccaneers is 4-5. The Buccaneers ain't a bad team. They are a good 4-5 team.
Yeah.
They could have beat the Chiefs Monday night, but they didn't have their number one, their number two, or their number three receiver, and they still about did it.
Right, but here's the thing: they are still a good enough team because actually, even though their record at 5-4, they're
Four and
still
five.
4-5. They're still leading their division, or is Atlanta better than them? I don't know what Atlanta is
I'll have to see. I got ready to go to the standings here in a
because
minute.
we know it's not the Saints or the Panthers.
Um, it may be the Bucks. The
I think the
49ers
Bucks
and
are
the
still
Bucks.
leading it.
Let's see here. No, Falcons are 6-3.
Wow, Falcons are 6-3.
6-3. Um, I'm gonna man, I'm gonna go to the 49ers, and I'll tell you why. McChristen McCaffrey may be back this weekend.
Yep.
So they said he is looking good in practice. So I'm gonna go with the 49ers. If that changes that whole offense if he's back. Then they're getting Jennings back from an injury. So you got another receiver to throw to, which he was like their third option when they had Ayuk there. And he was still getting a lot of reps. So I'm going to go with the 49ers on this.
I want to go Tampa so bad. I
I'm tell
think
you,
I'm going Tampa because I always did like Baker Mayfield.
he's looking good. That's what I was going to get ready to say. Baker has matured great in the NFL. He is looking good. Shame on you, Browns, for letting him go. And when y'all let
I
him
know.
go, I knew it was a bad decision. On the multiple bad decisions y'all have made since that franchise has been there. But yeah, I'm gonna go. I mean, Baker's looking good. Hats off to him and his play. The next game we got is the Giants and the Panthers. And you know what? I'm gonna go Panthers on this one. I don't think I picked them all year.
As much as I hate the Giants and Dable and Daniel Jones, I don't trust the Panthers for nothing. This will be the first time that you'll hear me say, "Go Giants." I think I'm gonna take the Giants on this one.
The battle of the 2-7s.
Exactly.
All right, now we got the Bills and the Colts. The Bills are going to win that one.
Yeah, Bills.
I don't know what's happened to the Colts. It's like I think it's like a curse the way they done Peyton Manning.
Oh yeah, I think so. The
It's
way
like
they
a
did
curse.
him, picked a lock to replace
Look,
him,
yeah,
and he was
and
still
then yeah, it's
Peyton
so. I
still had
mean,
play.
he still had play left. The Falcons and the Saints. I'm gonna go with the Falcons on that.
Yeah, Falcons.
Steelers and Commanders. Man, this is gonna be a game here. This is gonna be. They're playing. They're playing in Washington. Man, this is gonna be a game. Um, I'm going Commanders.
You know what? I'm going for sabotage here. My Dallas is not going to win that division, and the
So
Commanders are.
you want Snyder? Is it Snyder? What coach? What's their coach? No,
Quinn.
Dan.
Yeah,
Dan
Dan
Gwynn.
Quinn.
Gwynn. You want Gwynn to lose because he left the Dallas.
Yes, I am so on the train to where what's his name would like me right now. I am going for the Eagles to win that division. So I'm going against the Redskins. They got to go down. I need the Eagles to catch up.
All right, now we got the and the thing is with the Commanders, I like Jalen Daniels. He's looking good. He's a good quarterback. Which he was my pick out of the draft out of all the
Mhm.
quarterbacks. The Commanders was my pick to win that division.
Yep.
I know you probably thought I was crazy along with everybody else except the other Commander fans. But
No, because I was like, they have a good shot because they siphoned off half of Dallas's team, yeah, half of their defense.
all right, and then the next game we got the Vikings and the Jags. They're playing in Jacksonville.
Vikes.
Now, I'm going to go with the Vikings, but they've been letting down the last couple of weeks.
They have. I think the hype done did them in. It was just too hype. They just couldn't deal with being the number one team in the NFC because they was undefeated and they just dropped two.
They did. Then you got the Titans and the Chargers. I'm going Chargers. If Chargers win this, which they
They
should,
should.
they'll go to 6-3 in the division,
Yep.
right behind 3 games behind the Chiefs. And here we go. I can't wait to see your pick on this. The Eagles and the Cowboys. You know who I'm going with. Fly high, Eagles. Fly, fly.
I know.
All right, let me hear you say this.
Do I want to side with Kelly? Well, here it is. I'm going with my Cowboys again, being a diehard Cowboys, but I already know who's actually winning this game.
It's not going to be close.
It's not going to be close.
You even said, well, they don't have Dak, so
There's no Dak.
and
There's
you said
no
Dak,
running back.
you said Dak said on the sideline that they suck.
Yeah, we effing suck is what they when you can read
So
his clips.
what does Jerry Jones do? He goes to Carolina and gets like their 4th or 5th string receiver,
I know.
Mingo, who ain't done much in his career in the NFL. And
Who shops for bench players? It's
I
like if
mean-
you're doing bad and you're trying to make the deadline, you're looking at their starters that these teams that's not going to make the playoffs. Look at their starters, like Adam Thielen. You could have got Adam Thielen.
well,
No, we're
Hey.
shopping the bench.
Jerry Jones must have been watching our podcast because you was complaining that he wasn't making no move.
Exactly.
So he went and made a move for you.
Exactly. I didn't say my mistake. I put that on me because I didn't say let's make a good move and get somebody started.
Here's the thing: they didn't deal off Trey Lance, did they?
No.
And it's probably a good thing because Dak's out. But they're going to play Cooper, ain't they?
Yeah, they're gonna play Cooper. But here's my thing. Yeah, Dak is out, but I still would have dealt Trey Lance because this is the last year, his rookie year. You know you're not gonna be able to sign him.
No.
You would have got rid of some of your cap. You would have gotten rid of you might actually got something for him. Because next year he's gonna be a free agent. And honestly, nobody's gonna be wanting to pick him up. I wouldn't pick him up. I wouldn't pick up somebody and pay them a lot of money, and you just sat on
Yeah,
the
I know
bench
who.
for 4 years.
I know who.
Cleveland.
Yep, the Browns. He'll tell him, "I want 300 mil." Okay, let's sign you the check now. Come to Cleveland. Let's go. All right. The Jets and the Cardinals. You know who I'm going with on this.
I'm going Jets.
Jets. Jets.
Yep.
Jets. Jets. And this to me, I think for the Jets could be their saving point in their season. They looked good the other night. Was that enough to get Aaron Rodgers
They
in
really
with
didn't look good the other night. It's
offensive
just
wise?
Houston looked bad.
Okay. Well, it made Aaron Rodgers look good for throwing 3 touchdown passes.
Right, yeah.
So did that get Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams on cue? Is this something we're going to see from here on out with that offense? I mean, that offense is loaded with talent. You got Garrett Wilson, you got Devontae Adams, you've got Breece Hall, and Aaron Rodgers still can throw the ball.
Yeah.
Even though I'm not a big fan of the guy, never have been, even when he was in Green Bay, but he can still throw the ball. You seen that the other night. So if they come out looking good, winning this game, they could make a shot to make a run for a wild card spot.
Right. But I think the whole thing was that the reason why they won that game is CJ Stroud is in that sophomore slump. He has not looked like the guy last year.
Well, you know Diggs is out for the season.
Yeah, Diggs is out for the season.
Now Nico
Collins
comes back
hurt.
this weekend. He comes back this weekend.
He comes back.
So he'll get Collins back. And everything else, Houston will, and that's our next pick. Oh, I gotta get you got the Jets. That's right. That's our next pick is the Lions and the Texans.
Lions.
And they're playing in Houston.
Lions.
We're both going with the Lions because I'm telling you right now, the Lions are looking tough. They are looking good. And I think the Lions. That's a Sunday night game. I think the Lions will win that.
I'm still going with the Lions, even though Houston might win it because this will be the game that Dalton Schultz have his breakout game, 3 touchdowns because he was on my fantasy team and I benched him. I had him the whole time. He's doing nothing. I just put him on the bench. He will have a breakout game.
You're probably right. That's how it works in fantasy. Hopefully, Nico has that breakout game because I've got him in all my leagues. So, and then you got the Monday night game. The Dolphins and the Rams. I'm gonna go, man. I'm gonna go with the Rams on this.
I'm going Rams.
Rams has got the receivers back.
Yep. They got the receivers back, and I don't trust Tua's head.
And let me run down these standings real fast, and then we're about getting close on time.
Yep, and I gotta go over them coaches firing. We got some news on. They've been firing some coaches.
All right, you got in the AFC East, you got the Bills at 7-2. Bringing up behind them is them Jets. They're 4 games back at 3-6, so they can save their season. They're going to have to start getting on the winning streak. They can save the season. They're in the AFC North. The Steelers, I got a 1-game lead on Baltimore. Steelers are 6-2. Baltimore Ravens 6-3. That's why that game tomorrow night is very big. If Bengals beat them, then that changes the
The dynamic that puts
the dynamic of the second.
it gives
that
Steelers some cushion.
gives Steelers cushion. It gives the Bengals one game out of second, holding a tiebreaker. Well, no, they'd be split. They'll be splitting, I think.
Yeah, that's split. Yeah, because Baltimore beat them the first
Yeah,
week 3 they played, and that was Baltimore's first. No, week 4. That
yeah.
was Baltimore's second. Baltimore went evened up they score and dropped to 1-3.
And
Then
then you got Houston leading the South at 6-3. Colts are 2 games behind them. Then you've got Kansas City leading the West 8-0. Chargers 3 games behind them. In the East, all right, here's one of them we're talking about. The Commanders are 7-2 and the Eagles are 6-2. And then it's just the battle of the worst teams between the Cowboys and the Giants. And then the NFC North, the Lions are 7-1. The Vikings are 6-2, and the Green Bay Packers are 6-3. And then the Chicago Bears are 4-4. So it's like one game, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Huh. Then the South, you got the Falcons at 6-3. The Buccaneers are 4-5 behind them. And then the West. This is what we wanted to get at. You got the Cardinals at 5-4. The Rams and the 49ers are both 4-4. And the Seahawks are 4-5. So
and
that division,
it's totally flip flop. They started off on top, the Seahawks did, and now they're in the bottom of the basement.
yep, and it looks like your division where your Cowboys in flip flopped out to West. So,
Yep.
all right, you go ahead and mention the firings of the coaches, and then we're about out of time.
Yeah, because I went over this with you. Was it yesterday we talked about it, but I didn't emphasize how the severity of it, and I seen it. Well, we already knew Robert Saleh, whatever his name, he got fired from the Jets, and he was the first fireman. And then yesterday, or this week, I think it was Monday, they fired Dennis Allen. He was head coach of the New Orleans Saints, but the Raiders, they did some serious firing. They cleaned house. Raiders lost 3 coaches. They fired Luke Getsky. He was the Raiders offensive coordinator. They fired Rich Scangarello. He was the Raiders quarterbacks coach. And they fired James Craig. He was the Raiders offensive line coach. So they are like totally, the offense has been scrapped. You're going to have to bring in all these new people to run an offense mid-season. So there's not, Antonio Pierce is their head coach. I know he's not calling plays because Antonio Pierce, he played for the Giants way back in the day. He was a defensive end.
Mm-hmm.
He's not coaching that offense. What they're doing is they've already decided this is going to be a scrap year. The offense will be just mediocre. They're just going to do whatever. They don't care about the offense. They're going to work on that defense. That's what I see is they're working that defense. They're going to be in the bottom of the barrel. They might beat Carolina out for the number 1 pick.
Well, but what players do they got? It don't matter what coaches you bring in. Who they got? How they going to win?
They don't got nobody. They got rid of Adams.
They got a bunch of backups.
They still hanging on to Minshew.
You got a tight end, Bowers or whatever, but he's probably the number 1 guy. I mean, best player, but that's about it. We're down to our last minute of this episode, Cool Beans.
Oh, okay.
But like we always do, if you're at the end of each episode, if you're thinking about harming and hurting yourself, there's that quick number to call, 988. That's the Veterans Crisis Line. It's 1-800-273-8255. Always keep in contact with your battle buddies, your friends. Notice any change in behavior. Have them go talk to somebody, or you can go to your local VA medical center. Any veterans that's out there listening, go to the ER, ask for help, tell them what you need, and they'll get you to the resources.
Yep.
Well, that'll be it for this episode. We'll be live this Saturday at 9 o'clock. Y'all have a good rest of your week, and we'll see you then.
See you then.